In July 2005, William Cassone, a driver for a plumbing company in Brooklyn, was injured at work when a boiler he was delivering fell on him. Mr. Cassone filed a claim for compensation, but what started with a fall became a tumble through the pitfalls of New York's workers' compensation system. Last April, Mr. Cassone was examined by Dr. Hershel Samuels, a so-called independent medical examiner with the state's workers' compensation system. Under New York state law, Mr. Cassone was allowed to videotape his examination. This is footage from that examination, which was also taped by Dr. Samuels' assistant. The New York Times compared the tape of the examination with the medical report that followed. That report, prepared by a company called Albro Medical, was signed by Dr. Samuels as a truthful account of his medical opinion. But as this tape shows, the report contradicts the doctor's own key findings about Mr. Cassone's condition. Dr. Samuels begins his examination by asking Mr. Cassone whether his back is sore to the touch.
Now we're getting to the spot where it's very painful.
Okay.
There and a little lower.
All right. That's about T12 here.
And
All right.
that hurts.
However, on page 2 of the report that Dr. Samuels signed, the text reads, quote, "There is no tenderness to palpation over inferior angle or over the spinous process from T1 through T12. Dr. Samuels then asks Mr. Cassone to bend first to one side, then to the next.
Now, I would like you to bend to the left, if you don't mind.
That's it.
Stop when you don't.
That's as far as I'm going.
Okay, that's about 15 degrees. Go to the right.
That's it.
That's a little less. That's about 10 degrees on the right.
But the report increases Mr. Cassone's flexibility to what it calls normal range, 25 degrees on the left, up from 15 degrees in the examination, and 25 degrees to the right, up from just 10 degrees in the examination.
And when I say pull,
Dr. Samuels goes on to check the reflexes in Mr. Cassone's legs.
pull.
Pulling.
Okay. A 1 plus on the right. Okay, gentle.
Yeah.
Pull.
Pulling.
Pull.
I'm pulling.
Okay. 2 plus on the left.
But on page 3, the report claims reflexes on both legs to be 2 plus, more than the 1 plus that Dr. Samuels dictates for the right leg during the examination. Next, Dr. Samuels asks Mr. Cassone to bring his chin to his chest.
Yeah, that's it.
This is it.
All right. It's only about 30 degrees of flexion.
However, on page 2 of the report, Mr. Cassone's forward flexion has been increased from 30 degrees to 40, bringing it closer to what the report calls normal range.
In the tape, you say there's...
The New York Times asked Dr. Samuels how he accounts for the discrepancies between the videotape of the examination and the written report that he signed.
I have no idea how these errors get because I have
about 10, 15.
no part whatsoever in transporting what I see into the report.
So what do you think happened?
I have no idea. Somebody goofed.
There were a lot of goofs. I mean,
I'm sure there were a lot of goofs.
It had a big effect on the
I'm not
case.
surprised.
It prevented him from getting benefits.
That's correct.
You measure things, you call out numbers,
Yeah.
nothing gets written down, the person leaves, then you sit down or she sits down and writes in the numbers
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
How can you be sure you're remembering the right numbers after they've left?
Not easy.
Are you sure you're putting down the right numbers?
I'm not sure of anything after this conversation.
I'm wondering, why not write them down while you're calling them out?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Of course, you're signing it, so you're responsible
That's
for the report.
I'm responsible,
If it's wrong, you're responsible.
and I feel very uneasy because behind this thing, many things may be written, but if I had to actually read each one of those reports, I could never do it.
Did you think people at All Borough changed your numbers?
I wouldn't put it aside. I wouldn't. I would not deny it if that it could happen. I don't know.
Albro Medical, the company that prepared the report of Mr. Cassone's examination, would not discuss his case or the comments made by Dr. Samuels. Last August, a judge approved an agreement between Mr. Cassone and the insurer, under which Mr. Cassone received $165 a week in workers' compensation benefits. Mr. Cassone says he is unable to live off that amount.